you're doing a lot of nonprofit work.
Yeah.
Including work around hunger relief,
Yeah.
The environment. Tell me about.
Well, should I start with BV? They
Sure.
came to me and asked me and sort of educated me on the problem of hunger in America, which I think all of us have a certain amount of knowledge that hunger is a problem. I don't think we know it's as extreme as it is. I don't think people realize that there are 17 million adults who don't have access to food, that 1 in 6 children are food deprived. Those are really big numbers considering there's 380 million people in our country. You know, we live in New York or any city, you see the way that food is celebrated, you see it's prolific. There's plenty of food out there. How do we get it to the people that need it? That's some of the things that BV worked on and we're working on to bring awareness. What they created as a program was the Hometown Heroes, which is to celebrate those people in their communities who go out and are working with their food banks or their churches or whatever to resolve this hunger issue. And the $10,000 check I'm awarding to Brett Myers from Maryland, he works with Nourish Now, which is a program that goes to the restaurants and takes the food, which is perfectly good food, and gets it to the people that need it. Now we'll be able to get him some automobiles or a truck maybe or something to make that more facile and easier, and it'll be more helpful. So that kind of awareness. It's all about awareness. I'm just a messenger for BV and what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I think of the private industry, and there are many that are doing great work. BV, Samsung does great work for children, amazing work. Starbucks does great work. But I believe what the government does, that programs shouldn't be cut in this area, you know, and they sound like a mess, but there's a lot of good government programs. If we can get private industry and the government, hunger should not, in this country, be on that level because we've got the food. You know, there are just so many things that are happening in the world that are at a crisis point. Now, I spent a lot of time working with the environmental group Rainforest Action Network. I raised money for them. We had a big benefit this year. I don't know if we're going to beat climate change. First of all, people's consciousness about it seems to be, oh well. You know, it's a crisis. You saw last month on the front page of the New York Times that the carbon levels in our atmosphere are as bad as they were 3 million years ago when it was primordially, you know, a hot planet. And, you know, the so what attitude, well, if you've got children, we're leaving them, you know, just a swamp for an atmosphere. My point being is I don't know if the climate change can ever be resolved. It's that serious and the tipping point may have been reached, but hunger definitely can be solved. So I think when private industries like BV get in there and other big corporations, I think we may be on the way to helping this hunger issue go away.
You mentioned that you're just a messenger. You probably get approached by a lot of different organizations. How do you choose?
Well, I try to focus. BV, mostly because I wasn't aware the problem was what it was, and I joined with them. Rainforest Action Network, I've been with for over 20 years. I grew up in the country. I love trees. I
built
love
a
nature.
log cabin for yourself.
Yeah, I went to college in Vermont. I love seasons, you know what I mean? I love the autumn. I love when autumn turns to winter. I love the cold days of winter when you get the first smell of spring. And then the first hot days of, you know, late June, and then the hot summers, and then those first late autumn crisp evenings. We're not getting weather anymore. We're getting really extreme weather and then really extreme weather. And I don't want my son to grow up in that. I want him to have what I had, where you could smell the smells of nature and everything like that. Now, that's kind of sounds superficial, but we're at a point where, you know, we're talking about sustainability of the human race. You know, you think that, you know, oh, once in a while a twister that's 4 miles wide that's, you know, never been recorded in history, that big, an aberration. No, it's not an aberration. These things are happening, and they're going to continue to happen because we got too much carbon in the air. The first 3 to 4 years of Law & Order, I think, were revolutionary in terms of TV. It was a New York show. It really showed the inner workings of the police and the district attorney, the Justice Department in New York. It showed New York in a different way. Music was such an essential part of my life growing up, you know. I mean, the songs that I grew up with, whether it was the Beatles or Motown, they were on the radio. It sort of binded us all together. We all listened to the hits that came out. We all fell in love or broke up to those songs. They were all a part of our lives.